Hello, everybody. This is Teacher Shaniqua. I finally have the time to sit down and start making some videos that my students have been requesting. And so, hello, students. If you're watching this video, sorry for taking so long. So this is going to be one of several videos that I'm going to be posting to help you when we are not in class. If you need just a quick review or need to go back over material again that we went over, I'm going to be making videos that you can watch at any time. We're going to call this Teacher Shaniqua's Classes on Demand, and you can just click the link whenever you need to practice. I'm going to do several videos. They're going to include math videos for all of my mini math camp students, as well as preschool, kindergarten, and any other requests that I get. I really hope to reach students all around the world with this. So if you have homework or if you have questions that you need help with, it can be elementary through middle school topics. Just post your question down below and I will make a video specifically kind of discussing or teaching whatever the topic is that you put in the comments that you needed help with. So I hope that this goes well. I'm excited to do this. That way, if you are in my classes, you can get extra practice from watching these videos. If you're not able to take class with me, then you can put your requests in the chat box and I'm going to still help you out. All you have to do is let me know what topics you need help with and that you want to work on, and then I will upload the videos as soon as I can. So this very first video is going to be on multiplication, specifically double digit by double digit multiplication. I just got out of a class with one student and we were working on double by double digit multiplication. We did go over about 3 different ways that you can multiply those, but there are several others that we can do. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways that you can multiply, and then you can figure out which one you like the best. Are you ready? All right, we're going to go to the board. And let's do some multiplication. So I'm going to choose a problem and I'm going to do it several different ways. And then you can choose which one you like the best. I want you to try and work on the problem too. If you want to change the numbers around and work on a different problem using these different strategies, you can as well. You can use a calculator to check your answer. But I'm going to first pick a problem and I choose, let's see. I want to do 20 times 15. Now, as you see, I lined these two numbers up, kind of like what we do with the standard multiplication. Some people call it the old school method. I really like to call it the old school method because this is how older generations learned how to multiply double by double digits in school. So the very first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to change the color for the bottom digit so that it kind of helps you to think about the steps and what we're going to multiply first. We're starting with the bottom row, ones place, which is going to be the 5. Okay, we're going to first do 5 times 0, and then we're going to do 5 times 2. So you want to start by multiplying the bottom ones place by everything at the top. Ones times the ones, the 1 times the 10. I'll say it again. Ones place times ones place at the top, ones place at the bottom times tens place at the top. 5 times 0 is, yep, it's 0. Yeah. And then 5 times 2 is, yep, 5 times 2 is 10. And you actually can just write out the whole 10. You don't have to do anything special with that. So we have 100 on our top row. We did our 5 times 0 and our 5 times 2. But before we can do anything else, we need to add our placeholder. I like to make a smiley face. Our placeholder is so that our numbers line up. If we did not have our placeholder and we try to keep multiplying, the numbers will not line up right. So we add our 0, and then we can move on to multiplying the 1 at the bottom by everything at the top. We're going to do the 1 times the 0, and then we're going to do the 1 times the 2. Okay, 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 2 is 2. And then we can line them, put our line underneath, and when we add them up, we get 300. How was that? Was that difficult? Was that easy? Was that somewhere in the middle? No matter how you felt about this one, if it wasn't as easy, that's okay, because the more you practice, the better you'll get at multiplying double by double digits. So we did 20 times 15, and we got 300. What are your questions? Post your questions below if anything came to mind while we were solving the problem. I would love to help you or answer any questions that you have. So now that we're finished with this, we know that the answer is 300. However, we're going to try to solve this a few different ways. I'm going to draw a line here. And we're going to do a similar method. We're going to line it up the same exact way. But this method is the partial products method. And this one really focuses on place value. So you must know place value in order to do it this way. You must be comfortable with place value. We line it up just like this, but we're going to extend this line and then drop one down like this. All right, I'm just going to give you a quick reminder. This is old school or standard method. And this one is partial products. So the very first thing that we're going to do is, if you check over here, we're going to do the same thing, slightly the same thing. We need to do 5 times 0. That's going to give us 0 over here. We did 5 times 2 before, but this time, think about place value. This is the ones place over here. This is the tens place over here. Instead of doing 5 times 2 is 10 like we did for this one, this is actually not a 2. It's 2 tens, which is 20. So we're going to do 5 times 20 instead. 5 times 20. What is 5 times 20? Or 20 times 5? Yeah, that's 100. So we have our 0 here, 0 here, and our 1 there. Okay, 20 times 5, 100. Now we're done multiplying the 5 at the bottom by everything. We're gonna go to the 1, but it's not a 1 anymore. It's 1/10. So it's gonna be 10 times 0. And notice for this one, we did not have to put a placeholder. We just go straight into multiplying the next row. So instead of 1 times 0, we have 10 times 0. And it doesn't even matter because it's still going to be 0, right? Anything times 0 is 0. The last step over here, we did a 1 times 2. But here, both the 1 and the 2 are in the tens place, so they are both actually tens. We're going to do 10 times 2. 10 times 2 is? Plus the 0. Or instead of doing 10 times 2 plus the 0, we can just go on and do 10 and 20 since they're both in the tens. I think that would be easier. I don't want to confuse you. So instead of doing 10 times 2 and adding a 0, we're just going to do 10 times 20. What's 10 times 20? That's 200. And then we put it here. And then finally, we can add these up. We have 0, 0, and 3. We still get the 300. I'm going to quickly go over that one again, as I probably confused you a little bit at the end. We did 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 20 is 100. 10 times 0 is 0. 10 times 20 is 200, and then we added them up. So remember, you must be very comfortable with place value in order to do this method. What are your questions about the partial products method? All right, we're going to stick with the same 20 times 15, but we're going to do a couple of different methods. So I'm going to turn the page here. We still have our 20 times 15. But this time, we're going to do the box method. All right, so we're going to draw a box. We're going to split it into 4 parts. And now for this box method, we want to think about 2 numbers that when we add them together, we get 20. You can do 20 and 0. You can do 10 and 10. I'm going to do 10 plus 10. That's going to equal 20. We have to do the same thing for the 15. We have to think about 2 numbers that when we add them together, we get 15. We can do 10 and 5 to get 15. So I'm going to put the 10 here and the 5 here. Now, if this is your first time ever seeing the box method, it could get confusing. So I want you just to remember whatever is at the top, being 10 and 10, is also at the bottom. Whatever is on the side, being the blue 10 and 5, is also on the other side. And this can just help clear up any confusion about what the multiplied in the box is. In the first box, we're going to do 10 times 10. Now remember, an easy way to do that is, well, we know if you memorize 10 times 10, then you know it's going to be 100, right? However, if you haven't memorized it, you can go 1 times 1 is 1, then you add 1 0, 2 zeros, right? So we have 100 in our first box. And guess what? The next box is also multiplying 10 times 10. It's the same thing. We're going to get 100 here as well. In the next box down here, we have 10 times 5. Remember, you can do 5 times 1 is 5 and then add a 0. Or if you know your 10s already, then that you will already know 10 times 5 is 50. And then in the last box, we have the same thing. 10 times 5 is 50. Once you fill up all of your boxes, all you have to do is add those numbers up. You can add them in your head or you can add them on the board. I know that 50 plus 50 equals 100. And then we have 2 other hundreds. So this will be 100, 200, 300 when we add all of those together. We get the same answer. What are your questions about the box method? Are there any problems that you would like to see me solve using the box method? Let me know. We have, I think, 2 more methods that I'm going to show you today. I don't want it to be overwhelming, and you can always come to the video if you want to see one of the other methods. If you want to pause it and then come back later and add on the methods when you're comfortable, then that is absolutely fine. So what we're going to do is go to a nice new page, and then we're still doing the same problem. The next method that we're going to do is an area model. So we notice we use the box. This one is similar to the box. What we're going to do is make a rectangle here. I'm going to put the 20 out here. And then I'm going to break the 15 into 2 different numbers. So if we break 15 down, we can get 10 over here and 5 over here. When you add 10 and 5, you get the 15. So that's why I broke down and used those specific numbers. You could do any 2 numbers that equals 15. You can do 8 and 7, you can do 11 and 4, but 10s and 5s are usually very easy to multiply with. You want to make it as easy as possible on yourself as you can. So if you can use 10s or 5s, then I would say go for that. The first thing we're going to do is 20 times 10. We have 20, and then all we have to do is add another 0 at the end of 20. Or you can do 2 times 1 is 2. And then add the 2 zeros to that. 20 times 10 is 200. Next, we're going to do 20 times 5. Well, we know that 5 is half of 10. So if this 20 times 10 is 200, that means 20 times 5 must be 100. If you were not familiar with that, you could do 2 times 5 is 10, and then add 1 0 to that. Now, once you get your answers at the top, once you get your 2 numbers, you add those together, and you get, 300 again. This is an area model. What are your questions about area models? With area models, you can break down this number as much as you want to. You can add another box or add another box this way. You just have to make sure that your numbers add up to equal the second that number that you're multiplying. There's one more that I want to show you before we go. So we're still doing 20 times 15. And this one is a lattice. It's going to look like the box method, but it's going to be slightly different. So what we do here is we take the box, split it into 4. We're going to take a line and we're going to split each of these boxes into 2. So we're going to split them right in half. One here. We're going to split this one all the way up, splitting both of those. And if the lines are not perfect, you can always kind of move them around. Change them around a bit so that they are better. All right, and then the last one is going to split this last box here, which is going to look like this. Make sure you set it up just like this before you do anything else. Now, the main difference between the lattice and the box method is that this time we're not going to think about 2 numbers that add together to equal the 20 or the 15. We're just going to literally break the number in half. We're going to put a 2 over here and a 0 over here. That's 20. We're going to put the 1 here and the 5 here. That's 15. Now we're going to multiply. We're going to start with the 0 times the 1. We're going to go out, in, and then down here, and then down here. So we have 0 times 1, which is 0, but we're going to write each of our answers with 2 digits. 0 can also be written as 0, 0. It's 0. Okay, next we're going to do 0 again times the 5 at the bottom. That can also be written as 0, 0, because 0 times 5 is 0. We are done with that side. Now we get to multiply the 2 by the 1 here, and then the 2 by the 5 here. So 2 times 1 is 2. We're going to write it as 0, 2. Okay. Last but not least, we have 2 times 5 in this box here, which is 10, but we're going to write it as 1 here and then 0 here. The last thing we need to do is at the bottom of each of these lines, we're going to add up the numbers. So here, there's just a 0. We're going to just add a 0 there. Here we have 0 plus 0 plus 0, and that equals 0 as well. And then next one we have 1 plus 2, which is 3, and that goes here. And we have 300. We get the same answer. What did you think about the lattice? Was it confusing? Do you need to see more examples like this? We just saw several examples or ways that we can solve multiplication. Just to give you a quick reminder, this is the lattice that we just did. We have an area model, the box method, partial products, and old school methods. Which one is your favorite? Let me know below. And if there's a topic that you would like to work on, it can be anything from preschool through middle school. Just put it below and I will try my best to help you. Bye and see you soon.